What up, Razzballers? Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We got a great one for you this evening. We are doing the Mock Draft Monday. We got a fun one with the SuperFlex, full PPR, 3 wide receiver league settings. We're going to be breaking it down. I'm your host, Guasco, joined by my man, Matty Stiles in the hot seat. We're live right now on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Sky Guasco with you with a Mock Draft Monday. And, of course, you know that means my boy Matty Stiles joining as well. That is Stiles 08, STILES 08. You can find me at my name, SKYGUASCO. Everything Razzball, RAZZBALL NFL on X. You can, of course, subscribe right here to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell, subscribe. Follow along with our picks. Let us know if you agree with our picks in the SuperFlex full PPR 3 wide receiver mock today. Maybe where you would have gone. Per usual, if you're used to the program, I will break down every single pick. Not like with analysis, but I'll name all the players so you keep up to date. And that's mainly for the podcasters as well. If you're listening on the go, as I do most of the time, to recap all my other colleagues here at Razzball, you can find that anywhere you listen to your audio with the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And of course, most importantly, our website, free right now, football.razzball.com. All of our amazing writers, all of our amazing exclusive content to help you with your drafts, your preseason, your full season, and get you going on through the rest of your draft season here at football.razzball.com right now on the website. Razzball, as we know, is done and on its way here. We got a lot of great teams. Matt, again, you were kind of the head of the snake there on that, so we appreciate it. You're repping today. Razzball 6, leaving the light on for us. Not a sponsor. We appreciate it. We got a lot of things going on, too. We had a great debate last week with Derek, myself, and Jeff. Will have some more fun stuff like that. And, of course, you can join us every Sunday morning for the best part of the show, which is the Quad Box Plus for 2 hours, kicking off your start-sit questions, rapid fire, hundreds of questions. You get us expert panelists, and we knock them out for you. We're very excited to do that. Matty, good afternoon, man. We're having a kind of a matinee today. We got some things going on this evening, so we're able to be flexible. I appreciate that. So we got a SuperFlex full PPR 3 wide receiver mock. You've already got it set up. How are you doing this afternoon, my man? Let's get this rolling.
I'm doing really well. A quick update. You may not know this, and I barely remembered it. Rudy came forward, and he has issued to everybody that clicks the link that joined Razzball 6, they get a free 30-day subscription to the DFS Premium. So for those of you that are listening or on the go and listening, make sure you check that email, click on the link. There's no, you don't have to put your credit card down, nothing. The deal is at the end of the month, you'll get an offer. Hey, if you want to do this again, click here, and you can pay for a subscription. We're not pushing that. We're giving you a free 30 days as a thank you to the Razzball community. So no pressure for anybody to re-up, but it's a free 30 days leading up to the draft. And what better time to have the info? So I forgot that last time when we chatted, but you reminded me, and I've got the shirt. So here we go.
Matt, I love to hear that. And one more time for the people in the back, that is breaking news to me. It's breaking news to them. One more time, give us the elevator pitch on that for 10 seconds.
If you are a part of Razzball, the email that you use is now associated with a free 30 days on the NFL Premium site on Razzball. Check your email, click the link, you're in. At the end of the 30 days, you'll get a little option of, you want to do this again, let's pay for it. If not, cool, no feelings hurt.
Excellent. Breaking news right here on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. You know how we roll it. Thanks for that, Matt. And what an awesome opportunity for people in August. I mean, this is like the dog days of summer for us drafters going insane. And so, you have a great 30-day subscription. I love that. Big up to Rudy and everybody else at the Razzball team behind the scenes as well. All right, Matty, let's get into it, man. We're going to break this down. I'll just do a quick recap for everybody that has not maybe been following along weekly as we do these things. We're using Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard. A lot of people ask us why we don't use Sleeper. We love Sleeper. Again, no dog in the fight for us. We're neutral all around. We're Switzerland. We use all the programs. They're all friends of us here at Razzball. There's no real preference as to the brand itself. It's more the tool that works so quickly with the mock draft, the Draft Wizard. So not a sponsor, not a formal partnership, but I enjoy using this tool, and you're able to do it for free as well. So we do it here on the program. So shouts out to Sleeper as well. We just use the Draft Wizard here at Fantasy Pros. Today we're doing a super flex, full PPR, 3 wide receiver mock draft. Last week we went out of the 9 slot. We randomized again. We're going out of the 4 spot today. Off the bat already, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. No surprise. We got 3 high-quality quarterbacks right off the bat, Matt. What is something before we start this here? Are you, no matter where you're at in the first round, second round, third round, are you like, I got to get my quarterbacks, 2 top guys right off the bat? I have to get 1 at least, and then a premier wide receiver, running back. Or, hey, you know what? If that volume falls and I get, Christian McCaffrey at 4 or CeeDee Lamb at 4 or one of those guys at like 9, you're going to punt quarterback, which may be risky in Superflex. But like, what's your general kind of mindset heading into a draft when you're Superflex?
Yeah, this is new to me, Superflex. This is the first time I participated with Scott Fishbowl that had Superflex. And then I got into, I believe, one other Superflex league.
Shout out Scott Fish.
It's a totally different process for those that haven't played it. And there's also, I think Scott Fishbowl even had tight end premium, which adds another wrinkle. But for me, in watching folks draft, right, people that you respect in the community or that you see in other draft rooms or in chat rooms, and you're like, okay, these guys kind of seem to know what they're doing. I think the top 4 spots are pretty easy. Quarterback, you pick one of the 4 that you like. Well, for us, it's going to be probably the guy that's left. There are some people that have been taking McCaffrey or Tyreek or Lamb up there at the top. Not for me. If I'm 5 and after, I will take the best player available and then try to make up some ground as it comes back in the second. Now, I will tell you this. My wife, for the first time ever, I talked her into playing. So she's in there's 5 divisions, all women,
cool.
And they're in the middle of their slow draft. And I simply told her, Razzball's got free stuff. If you want to look at it, look at it. She's more using the sleeper kind of list of ADP. Then she'll ask a question if she's got a question of me, and I'll tell her, well, I'd prefer A versus B, right? Whatever the players are. But again, she's made all these choices on her own. She went in the first 2 rounds, and I think she's drafting out of the 8 or 9 spot and went Burrow, Dak. And I told her, I said, I don't know that you could have done that any better, any smarter, right? For Superflex. Mm-hmm. And the rest of her team is rounding out really nice. But for me, I don't know if I'd have the guts to get out of the second or go into the third round without a position player outside of quarterback. But I went back and looked at her draft board. I said, it kind of made sense, right? The other players that were there didn't make sense. So for me, I think we take the quarterback that you can see up there in the upper right. He's the 4th out of 4 that I've got. And then you just wait for the board to fall to you, and you do the best with what you have. So if there's a Joe Burrow or a Jordan Love or a CJ Stroud when it comes back to us, maybe an Anthony Richardson, which he won't be there, or even a Burrow, maybe it's a good idea to take a quarterback then. But again, I'm not taking a Brock Purdy. I'm not taking a Jared Goff. I'm not taking a Matthew Stafford there. I'll take the skill position player that's there if it comes back, or when it comes back, excuse me. So awesome. Long answer to no, I take outside of the top 4, I take the best player available.
Cool. I dig it. Well, best of luck to the misses and everybody else in that league. What a fun opportunity. And Matt, let's be honest here. Are you encouraging highly that she reach a little bit to make sure she gets Dontavian Wicks in the 4th round?
I will tell you, they are in about the 13th or 14th, maybe even later. He's still available. I'm doing my best to leave her alone. But I did hear her sleeper bell go off, which I think she's either on deck or on the clock. So, cool. Yes, I just sit here and chew my fingernails and hope that she does the family proud and lands Dontavian Wicks for the win.
All right. Do us proud. Do us proud.
Yes.
Well, let's get this going here. You can see on the screen, but again, for the podcasters, I'm going to break this down best I can. So best available here, Lamar Jackson, Anthony Richardson, and CJ Stroud, 3 quarterbacks that, of course, we love very much. And then King McCaffrey, they're down there as well. So we're in the 4 slot, Matt. We're definitely not going to get CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, whatever on the turn. And if we don't go quarterback here for some reason, we're definitely not going to get a top 12 quarterback. It's super flex. There's no chance. So I know where you're heading because we do these shows all the time, but break it down here. What are you feeling?
I think with the running ability and the fact that they are a very solid team, They're established. Mark Andrews is coming back healthy. Zay Flowers, another year under his belt. And they've got King Henry to take pressure off of Lamar Jackson. For me, it's a no-brainer, Lamar Jackson.
I'm into this as well. Lamar Jackson would be my pick. I don't think you can go wrong with Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud either. But I am absolutely down for Lamar Jackson. Let's smash and go. All right. Well, I'm telling you my pick already. We'll battle over the top two guys here in a second. Let me get that draft board. Here we go. First round, 1, 2, 3. We have 10 of the 12 picks as quarterbacks, folks. Oof. If you don't play SuperFlex or you're not used to it, this is going to be shell-shocking to the OGs like Matt, who have not been playing SuperFlex the last couple of years. This might look like a crazy draft board, but here we go. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. We went Lamar Jackson. Then we have Richardson and Stroud back-to-back. McCaffrey goes at 7. Then we have Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Bijan Robinson, and Dak Prescott to round out the first round. Coming back, 5 straight wide receivers. Lamb, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, and your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tua Tagovailoa goes at 8. And then we have coming back around, or I should say 6. Coming back around, then we have Breece Hall, and then Brock Purdy sliding into the middle of the second round. I like that. Let's go back here. Again, we do have Lamar Jackson. So I'll state my case first. You can say, hey, that's a really good point, or nope, let's do this instead. We already have Lamar Jackson. We know that rushing is a complete cheat code in the NFL. With the news breaking, not breaking, we all expected it, but it's official. Jaden Daniels will be the starting quarterback for the Washington Football Team Commanders. He's other Lamar Jackson. I'm extremely excited about this kid. He was my top quarterback coming out this year in the draft, not Caleb Williams. You and I feel the same about Caleb Williams. Although I will say, to be transparent and to try to be unbiased while we do this reporting on the podcast, Caleb Williams has looked really great in these first couple preseason games. So I hope he does well in his career. I'm not trying to hex the kid. I just don't love him more than Jaden Daniels. So for me, Jaden Daniels would be this pick here. We get our 2 great quarterbacks, rushing, good options there, deep ball opportunity, great ability there for the second quarterback. And it really falls off at quarterback, as you said, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, my boy Justin Herbert, but he's hobbled. I don't love that. I got a sneak attack quarterback who's been killing it in the preseason here, but he's a later round pick anyway in SuperFlex. So for me, Matt, I'd like to just go Jaden Daniels, lock up our quarterback, then we can smash running back and wide receiver moving forward. How do you feel about that at your second round pick? Are you looking for a quarterback or you got somebody else on the board?
Normally, I would lean to this guy right here.
I know you would.
I would lean to A.J. Brown. Now, with that being said, the draft board is clearly blown up.
Yep.
Right? Top 5 receivers are gone. Top 3 running backs are gone. And we've got 12 quarterbacks off the board. So we can play it safe. And I think Jaden Daniels, based on the starting nod, that's the safer, not fun, don't set the world on fire pick. The other way to go, if we both agree that A.J. Brown would be option 1B, we then have to do the math. If all 3 of these teams take a quarterback, we go back to suggestions, we click on quarterback, that would mean Daniels would be gone, and 2 of these 3, with the 4th guy being Justin Herbert, would be gone. So let me ask you this. Could you live with A.J. Brown and one of these 2 guys?
I could live with them, but just for giggles and wiggles, why don't you click on the running backs and wide receivers first, and let's do the math backwards. Again, folks, mock draft, we get to play around. This is why we're doing this show. Let's talk it through. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously. Exactly. Exactly. And wide receivers, same thing.
Injured. He'll go higher than we probably want to pay up. So, and then older, you know how much I love him. You love him the same. But yes, we are going to get one of those players. It could be this guy. I doubt it, but I don't know. It could be this guy too. I think we take the chance and we'll probably end up with one of these players right here. And I'm good with any one of the 4.
I agree. And really for me, Matt, it's the separation between what we're doing here. I love A.J. Brown. We've talked about him all summer. You and I have mocked him like 4 different times on these things. I'm all about A.J. Brown. It's nothing to do with not picking him. It is just simply the separation between Jaden Daniels' potential. And yes, folks, this is strictly potential. He's a rookie, has not played real snaps. but it's his potential versus the other guys. Goff is safe. Lawrence is probably safe this year. Herbert, you guys know I love him more than, possibly my own child, but he's hobbled and I don't love the offense this year. Caleb Williams, we're going to continue to fade for a little bit. The separation there is great. 3 stud running backs and wide receivers left, Matt. We're going to get lucky on one of those. For me, it's got to be the separation here with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and I'll make you a deal. So what we're going to do, I'm going to say this before it even comes back around. In the 4th, coming back to us, or early 5th, we're going to look for A.J. Brown light. I won't tell you who he is, but he plays in Seattle.
Okay.
All right, so let's take this Jaden Daniels kid. You know him. I've never met him. Seems to be a good kid.
Great kid. Was that a Steve Largent shout out, by the way, or somebody else?
Number 80 in blue? No.
Okay, I was just curious who you were talking about. We don't know yet. All right, draft board here. Jaden Daniels does go as our pick. Then we have A.J. Brown going immediately next. We knew that would happen. Jaden Daniels would have gone next if we picked A.J. Brown. Caleb Williams goes, Garrett Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, and my boy Cooper Kupp. Let's go back to the suggestions here and see what we got left.
Interesting that two of these teams did not take quarterback.
Yep.
But again, they're AI. For me, it's pretty easy. This is my guy right here.
I agree. I've been fading in my fade articles the last, I think, 2 or 3 years at least since his big injury. I love Saquon Barkley when he's healthy. 2019 was special when he and CMC were number 1 in each format, but I didn't love it. Now he's with the Eagles. He's going to get the opportunity. Bob has been fading because he went from Bob's Giants to the Eagles. I get that. But just as a stud in that offense, he could be electric and he catches the ball. Obviously, he's healthy right now. I love it. Let's peek at the wide receiver just because. Puka, Harrison, Devontae Adams, and Drake London. And then I believe all the tight ends are available. Is that correct?
All tight ends are available.
Cool. Little early for me on tight end, but just wanted to make that clear. Okay. For me, man, it's a Saquon smash as well.
Yeah, and here's the good news, right? Let's go back to the draft board, right? We're pretty standard quarterback, a couple purples here. By the way, purple in pros, purple in college. We'll talk about that later.
Just makes sense.
We don't have to worry about quarterback again.
Exactly.
In this draft format, right? We would later, but right now in the way we're drafting, we're done. We don't have to worry about quarterback. We've got all skill positions. We have a couple teams down here, no quarterback, all one quarterback. So we're going to gain some draft board value when these guys chase their second quarterback, So I'm all about Saquon, top 2, possibly top 3 offensive line. He looks to be fully healthy. He can run. He can catch. There's other weapons, so they're not going to stack the box like they did in New York. I'm with you. We smash Saquon. And then if you will, we can all get a sip of our drink because it will take 45 minutes to get back. But no, we're doing this AI style. It's already back to us.
Boom. Love that.
And look at this. We just missed this guy who would have been my coin flip pick, would have been Travis Etienne. That's crazy.
I love it. We got Saquon at our 3 spots. So we have Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, and Saquon Barkley. Then Puka goes. Again, he is beat up. This is AI generated. So in a real draft, he might slip a little bit later, whatever. I do like that the AI, though, is coming around, Matt, because forget the ADP on this particular draft. I'm taking Cooper Kupp either 2 rounds after Puka or before Puka if they're both available in the 4th or 5th round. I've done it in mocks all summer. I'm going to continue to do it. I love Puka Nacua. So do you, obviously. It's Cooper Kupp season right now until it's not. Jared Goff does go. Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Justin Herbert, Kyron Williams, Trevor Lawrence, King Henry, all the way back, the last pick of the 3rd round. Love that. Marvin Harrison, Michael Pittman, Drake London, Isaiah Pacheco, Deebo Samuel, Kirk Cousins, still on the bench, but he's getting picked in Superflex. Best believe that. Travis Etienne, and then Nico Collins goes next. We're up at 4-9, Matt. Let's see who we're looking at.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of tidbits before we look at the suggestions. This is the latest I've seen any of these 3 players go in any format. So this guy is getting what Derek and I talk about a lot, and you and I have probably done it too, is you don't want to pay to get the top guy in your tier. You want to pay to get the top guy left in your tier because that spells the most value. And without a doubt, now this person paid, right? Top of the tier. This was the biggest value of wide receiver in the top tier. But knowing how late these 3 players went off the board, I think that Tyreek Blinders is doing very well with, at the turn, the players that are there. Again, at the turns, you probably just deal with whoever's there.
Right.
From there, let's go back to suggestions. Reminder, we have our quarterback position is taken care of, and we have our first of 2 running backs that we'll need.
Correct. And again, something we haven't talked about too much in our draft because of Superflex and it's fallen this way. Matt, we are dealing with a 3 wide receiver league. So that is important for us to consider. It's mandatory 3 wide receivers, and then we have a flex, obviously. So something that we need to consider as we move forward. At wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, and who are we looking at running back? Sam Laporta is still available also. Who is available at running back? Devon Achane, Rashad White, James Cook, and Alvin Kamara. So let's take a look at the draft board one more time. I know you like to kind of do your predictive look aheads, which I do appreciate. And now when I'm in the middle of a draft, Matt, it's fun to look at that kind of stuff, but honestly, it very rarely works because you have so many picks. So we have our pick, obviously, then we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then back to us. So we have 6 picks before we pick again. That is a way where we can look at who's available and start guessing like, okay, one of these 3 or 4 guys are available. I'm okay with that. So I'll draft this way. If I'm back a few more picks, there's just way too many outliers. So I don't like to draft like that when I'm not closer to either side of the turn there. But I know you like to do this. So if we just kind of predict ourselves, teams 1 and 3 still need a second quarterback. Now, at that point, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Joseph, they're all kind of the same guy maybe at fantasy. So they're maybe just kind of going to punt it at this point. There's still some separators at wide receiver, tight end, of course, because they're all available, and running back. I think there's some top end talent here as well. So again, we're in a 3 wide receiver league. We do not have a wide receiver yet. The question is, do we want to go with one of these guys as our staple number 1 and then maybe look at a number 2 also? Or do we think that potentially with the way the draft could fall, we could end up getting a later round running back or a wide receiver that we also trust heading back around? So we might want to go wide receiver to make sure we get one and then maybe a second. Or do we just love Devon Achane, or I know we both love Alvin Kamara. Do we need to reach for him and then hope we get the best wide receiver available after that?
I lean wide receiver. Again, we have to start 3. We have none. My question to you as an expert, do you see a wide receiver 1 on this list?
I mean, Mike Evans. But other than that, I mean, again, we're full PPR, which Mike Evans is a dog. And if he catches his double-digit touchdowns, he'll be fine. If he doesn't, oddly enough, even being so consistent, we all know about his career-long streak of 1,000+ yards and, multi-touchdowns in 5 years. He, though, only catches like 80 balls. I say only because the rest of these guys, Jalen Waddle and DJ Moore, if it goes right, and Brandon Ayuk, they might catch 90 to 100 balls as a 1B. And Mike Evans is the clear number 1, I think, with Baker Mayfield there in Tampa. But, career highs are like 90 balls. He's not a volume guy. He's a big play touchdown guy in fantasy. So in PPR, he almost fades a little bit, but I do love him.
Yeah, for me, I don't love this group. They're all good.
I'd settle for probably all of them, though.
If we're going to settle, right, it's 2:00 at the bar. It's time. We're going to have to settle. I'm good. But I would rather take the PPR guy here. For me, it's Waddle, but I don't love Waddle as a 1. Mm-hmm. I kind of like Ayuk and I like DJ Moore. Again, I could take any one of these guys. He doesn't feel like a 1 to me. I don't know why that is. Probably because Tyreek is Tyreek. But this guy, you could make an argument with Debo. This one, you could make an argument that Chris Godwin is coming back out of the slot. He's going to get more targets, theoretically. Rookie quarterback that we've discussed down here. But he's a PPR machine.
Yep.
I'm good with any one of these 4 because I know who the next player here is that I want in the 5th.
Yeah, I like it. And just really quick, you can see some of those tags, Matt. I know that we're paying attention to them, but the viewers can on YouTube and also the podcasters, just to be aware, because they might be like, smash Jalen Waddle. He has an injury tag next to him. Now it's preseason. A lot of these guys get injury tags for nothing. Some of it's very serious, obviously. Some of it isn't. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, very serious. They're taking it light. Jalen Waddle, more just kind of like an easy bang up, but he has like injury history, so they're kind of shutting him down. I think he'll be fine for week 1. Just something to note there as we look around. I love me a piece of that Miami offense. I really do. You got to pay up for Tyreek, obviously, and rightfully so. Devon Achane also available. Our boy Mostert is still lingering around. He'll be available in like 3 rounds as the starter, so maybe he's the option there I like Brandon Ayuk. I think they settle things in San Francisco. But if not, if he goes to Pittsburgh where they're rumoring, then he could end up in a better situation maybe as a true number one, above George Pickens a little bit there. So I'm okay with wide receiver, and I'm all right to settle on running back around the corner. I would like to hopefully get Alvin Kamara if possible. So for me, it's Jalen Waddle and then Alvin Kamara. And don't tell Bob that we just drafted Jalen Waddle, who is his nemesis in fantasy football. Okay, around the corner here, DJ Moore, Travis Kelce, and Laporta go back-to-back on the turn, so the top two tight ends off the board. Brandon Ayuk and Mike Evans go, and Devon Achane. So, Matt, our long calculation kind of worked at our benefit. I think we actually still have a couple wide receivers we'd be excited about. We do have Alvin Kamara. We also have James Cook and Rachaad White as well if we wanted to go that direction. So I know we've been picking DK Metcalf kind of all summer long as well. Malik Neighbors we like, Amari Cooper, and Devonta Smith there as the number 1B, if you will. Rachaad White, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, and then Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, I do happen to like this year, but in full PPR, it's no question about it. Alvin Kamara would be the top running back for me. I would like to kind of play the odds and the hopes that Mark Andrews, based on this league type, more quarterbacks are going to go, wide receivers, running backs are going to go. I'm hoping Mark Andrews makes it all the way back to us next round. He may not, but if he does, that's a smash to me. Yeah, he's a bit beat up, but I love that stack with him and Lamar Jackson when he's healthy. So for me, I'd like to go Alvin Kamara here, or a top end wide receiver if you would rather have that. And then hope for Mark Andrews or maybe one of these top wide receivers.
All right. So remember, we have to start 3.
Correct.
I'm
just thinking PPR points because Alvin Kamara could catch 90 balls. Saquon's going to catch 90 balls. They're both the head of the snake in their respective offenses. Derek Carr checks down insanely to, the Saints aren't going to be maybe that good, but for fantasy, Alvin Kamara should be fine.
Yep. Now I will say, in the 5th, or actually in the 4th, I wanted DK Metcalf. This draft has shaken out very friendly for that selection, but I'm willing to go and close down our quarterback and wide receiver room, quarterback and running back room by taking Kamara for the reasons that you said. Then what we'll do is we'll sit on our hands and we will wait and see what comes back. If it's Andrews, we won't even have a discussion, right? You'll read these names, you'll read these names. 5 down to 512, 6-1 to 608. If Mark Andrews is available, we're going to smash him and save the dialogue, and then we'll discuss what we're going to do in 7. So let's go with our Alvin Kamara, and we will watch all of the names go off the board. And there goes Andrews.
Yep, right before us. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's take a look and see who else we've got available then.
So after Kamara, Josh Jacobs, Devonta Smith, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Rodgers, yikes, DK Metcalf, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Jones. At the 5-6 turn, James Cook and Rachaad White. Very nice turn there.
Yep.
We have the 3rd tight end, Trey McBride, goes at 6-2. Deontay Johnson feels early to me. Mark Andrews, that stings. Malik Neighbors, Jalen Warren, Amari Cooper, and Joe Mixon, and we are back on the clock at 6.09. My favorite tight end is still on the boards, singular. His name is
Jermichael Finley.
Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid. Yeah.
Who did you say? Who did I miss?
Jermichael Finley.
Yes, I do love Jermichael Finley and Mark Chmura.
Of course, yeah, the long throwback there.
Yes. Actually, we also had Keith Jackson, not the college football prognosticator, but the former Philadelphia Eagle tight end as well.
Yeah.
I don't love any of these names. Do you love any of these names that are on the top of the suggestion board?
I do love, at this point of the draft, T. Higgins over Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is going to be fun. That would be another part of our stack if we really wanted to do that. T. Higgins was beat up last year, the last couple of years, even as a quote-unquote number 2. He gets low-end wide receiver 1 numbers. He can blow up any given week. Also, if Jamar does go down, T. Higgins is easily that number 1, and they don't have Tyler Boyd there anymore. So of this group, I do like T. Higgins. We don't need another running back, but I do like Kenneth Walker as well.
Yep, I lean Walker as well if we're going running back, but I don't think we're going to. Quick movie quote for you.
Sure.
This is what T. Higgins has been saying for about a year, maybe a year and a half. Show me the fill in the blank.
Show me the money.
Exactly. So, boom, T. Higgins it is. You and I agree. You did not need to convince me either further or any further. So, let's go back to the draft board after T. Higgins.
T.
Oof, look at
Higgins.
this. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. That's why we go a bit earlier, and I feel great about this. Will Levis goes. Shout out to Jeff, big Will Levis guy. Zay Flowers does go, and then your boy Baker Mayfield as well, top 12, quote unquote, quarterback from last year. Kenneth Walker, 3, Tank Dell, and then Ramondre Stevenson goes as well. We're in the 7th round, folks. We got a couple left for everyone paying attention here. We are the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. You can find all of our exclusive content at football.razzball.com. Special tools available just for you from us for free on the website. We got a couple more picks here in our SuperFlex 3 wide receiver league. Right now, Matt, let's take a look here. We got Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara. Love that as our PPR, full PPR, by the way, league. Jalen Waddle and T. Higgins. So both two like 1B wide receivers that easily have number 1 upside if the top dog goes down, and Jaden Daniels as our number 2. So we have both Lamar Jacksons, which I like a lot. We have 2 wide receivers that could blow up at any time. Also, they would take that respective number 1 slot easily should the top dog go down. And then we have 2 great perennial PPR running backs, assuming health. All right, let's get back to the suggestions.
And we need a tight end, a receiver, and 2 flexes where we're at. Keep that in mind.
I like these guys a lot here. I like these wide. There's all of them. All of them. I mean, Christian Kirk, too. I know he's a little bit beat up right now, but I think he's got a big bounce back. I love me some George Pickens, actually, regardless of the quarterback position. I think Terry McLaurin's going to reemerge with Jaden Daniels. That's a nice stack for us as well, kind of sneaky. Your boy's still available at tight end as well.
Yeah, boy, those let's look at tight end, and can we live with, so we know Evan Ingram's going to be the second guy on that list.
Yeah.
I know you love this guy at the bottom. I'm not huge on him for.
I had mentioned this in a previous show. I love George off the field. I think my examples were if I'm going to a WWF match, if we're going to a concert, if he and I are having beers at a barbecue, if I'm like, bringing the missus over to meet him as like, the brother-in-law kind of thing, that's where I want George Kittle. Love him as a 49er fan. Fantasy-wise, way too much, hit or miss. And that makes me nervous on Sundays. So I actually pass in fantasy.
Yeah, this is a great dude if you're buddies with him. You can go over to his house and you're like, hey, fella, I scuffed my kicks. Any chance you have a pair I can wear?
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Of course he does.
He's the bro.
This is the guy that has been sneaking around on a lot of my teams lately. Derek would tell you the same thing. If you don't push tight end, that's the guy you got to go get. So I'm good. I love this. I love Dalton Kincaid. And pardon me, I'm circling again for those listening. The guy I'm circling is Jake Ferguson. So the list of 5 tight end, top 5 that we have are Dalton Kincaid, Evan Ingram, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, and Jake Ferguson. I am going to sing like one of the Jacksons and say to Kyle Pitts, what have you done for me lately? So I'm passing on most Kyle Pitts. We've talked about the WWE effect for George Kittle. So I think we'll pass on Kincaid and Ingram. We'll wait on Ferguson, and we'll go back to this board, which is wonderful. And the 5th guy, so Christian Kirk, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, Rashee Rice, and Chris Godwin are the top 5 suggested wide receivers. We can go running back if we want to and stash a guy in the flex.
Have I had too many peanuts and Cracker Jacks before the show, or is Raheem Mostert still available?
He is. Not only is he available, he's not even in the top 5 recommended picks.
Okay. I mean,
he's
there he is.
So
all right, that might be a smash next round.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to wide receiver, right? The top. So this is, I just clicked all. So all positions included, the top 5 players are all wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kirk, Pickens, Rashee Rice, Scary Terry, and back to the slot, Chris Godwin. I jinxed Mark Andrews by saying if he comes around, he's ours. So I'm not going to say any names. I will let you decide who we're going to smash here.
What you were going to say, and I'll say it so it doesn't count as your jinx, you were going to say if Rashee Rice is available, it's an automatic smash. Let's not risk it. He's the top wide receiver in the most potent offense when they're right in the NFL. He's not going to get a suspension anytime soon. If it happens, end of the season, we'll deal with that later or next year. To me, that's a no-brainer. I love George Pickens. I think he's going to be awesome. I like McLaurin and Godwin, whatever, but we're getting a number one wide receiver with Patrick Mahomes, who blew up at the end of last year in the 7th round. We can settle on running back later. They're all kind of like RB dead zone guys with upside. So for me, this is a no-brainer smash.
And the only subset to our decision, right? The one thing that would be fun, knowing that we're not paying for this and we're doing it on our own, but it doesn't really help the people. And who are we here for, Sky?
The people.
Would be the stack.
Sure.
But we're not going to do that.
Yeah, give me like De'Ami Brown in the 18th round for a stack, though. You know, why not?
We're realists. So.
Okay, there we go. Let me bust through this here, and we'll pick up these picks a little bit going around the corner. James Conner, shouts out to Bob. Christian Kirk, shouts out to Jeff. DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, Javonte Williams, Sammy D getting the start in Minnesota. Love that. Deshaun Watson, Dalton Kincaid does go. Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, so both Chiefs off the board, kind of back-to-back. Calvin Ridley, Zamir White, David Montgomery, George Kittle, and then Keon Coleman. Shout out to Jeff there as well. So we got a couple more picks left, Matt. We have fulfilled our starting lineup requirements, sans tight end. So we have our 2 quarterbacks, we have our 3 wide receivers, we have 2 running backs. How are we feeling? We're kind of like, I like an even draft board as I go along, assuming it makes sense. But let's take a look here, and we still have a couple starting running backs that we like a lot. We still have a couple great starting wide receivers that we like a lot as a wide receiver 4. And we do have Evan Ingram plus Jake Ferguson and some other guys available at tight end as well. I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, I think you go with the guy that can win you your league in the 8th round, and that's Raheem Mostert.
I agree.
What he brings you that Najee Harris doesn't is the ability to go 85 yards.
Yeah, they're apples to asparagus if we're talking like type of running backs.
And the argument is, right, what you've heard the arguments. Oh, he's injury prone. No, he's not. Oh, he's old. He is old in number, but he's got enough tread on his tires because, as you know, as a Niners fan, what did he start doing in the NFL? He started playing special teams.
Mm-hmm.
He has tread because he has not been a full-time or even a half-time NFL running back for as long as guys like Najee Harris and Tony Pollard and some of these other guys. These are all, Najee's a good pick here, but these are middling, what did you call it? Running back dead zone. So if you're going to go in the dead zone and you've waited, right? We have 2 studs at running back. This guy can win you your league in the 8th round of a SuperFlex league.
And the reality is, if you're concerned about the injury history or whatever, I totally get it. I'm a Niner fan. It was frustrating when he got hurt, whatever. But he's our 3rd running back. He can win you a week by himself in that offense. We saw him do it last year. We also saw a rookie do it in 10 games, who was wide running back 5 in 10 games, which is insane. So you ride the wave while you can, and then we get depth later on in the draft. He's the difference maker at this position or at this point outside of Evan Ingram. I think we can wait for the turn, maybe get Evan Ingram. If we don't, we can settle for Jake Ferguson. For me, it's a smash Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, and here's a couple other points for all the Mostert haters. And not everybody hates him, but is Tua going to run in any touchdowns from the 5? No. Is Achane going to run in any touchdowns from the 5?
Probably not.
Maybe, but no, he's probably going to bust off 40 and 20s, right? He's going to do that. Is Mostert the guy they hand the ball off to inside the 5? Absolutely. So this is your King Henry light that can go from 80. So I'm good with this. You mentioned tight end, and exactly what you wanted has happened.
Love it, bro. Love it. Let's go around the corner here. We got Raheem Mostert to us in the 8th round, 8-9. Chris Godwin, Jaden Reed, Rome Odunze, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, and Tony Pollard do go as well. So, Matt, if we didn't go with Raheem Mostert, he would have gone in that group, and we end up with Tony Pollard or Brian Robinson. Don't hate him. Definitely don't love him, though. So I like this a lot. We got a couple picks left. How many picks do we have exactly?
We have 9, 10, 11, and 12. 4. My public math says 4.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. We got 4 picks left, and we're kind of just picking bench at this point. So let's take a look. Running backs, Tyjae Spears, who I've been fading now, unfortunately. Still like the upside, but fading a little bit. Devin Singletary, Austin Eckler. That's a wild card, man. If he's 80% of OG Austin Eckler before the ankle injury, That's going to be the league winner right there. And then Chase Brown. How about the wide receivers? Jackson Smith and Jigba, Nuke Hopkins. Again, love the name right here, but he's out for the first month at least. Ladd McConkey and Cortland Sutton. We also have Hollywood Brown down there as well. And then our tight ends. We do have Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts and Jake Ferguson. For me, man, so we've kind of had a let's bring up a guy, pick him so we don't risk it after Mark Andrews. For me, it's going to be Evan Ingram, whether we actually think he's going to go or not. But we could play the math game, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4 teams have a tight end, but 1, 2, 3, 4 teams don't have a tight end on the back end. So for me, it's Evan Ingram, assuming that we want him, and then we could go bench because nobody else jumps off the page for me at other positions right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. And if we didn't get Andrews, we'd look at Ferguson. But guess what? I think we have a better option
me too.
currently than Ferguson. And we're talking 2.5 rounds later. So if you're good with Ingram, I'm good with Ingram.
Yes, sir.
And we wait.
Cool.
Pitts went.
Oh, yeah.
Bowers went. Njoku, Ferguson. Yep, that would have been he would have not made it back to us.
Exactly. Hit that draft board for me. Let's go around the horn here. We got Ingram, Pitts. Then we got Christian Watson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Nuke Hopkins does go. Hollywood Brown, Tyjae Spears, Singletary, and Jonathan Brooks, who I'm warming up to more and more and more. I love this kid out of Texas. He just got to get healthy for the Panthers. Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer is usually my sleeper in the 10th, 11th, 12th, but he does go. Brock Bowers, Austin Eckler, David Njoku, Jake Ferguson, Nicky Chubb. Haven't seen Nick Chubb's name in about 14 months, unfortunately. And Jamison Williams, who, again, if healthy and they actually use him properly, could be a league winner too. We have 3 picks left, Matt. We are 1 or 2 picks away from my third quarterback, and I want to make sure we don't miss out on him, but let's take a look at the rest of the draft board.
Right here you have a wide receiver 1. Right now in Cortland Sutton. You have a hyped up current running back 1 in Chase Brown. Yep. The guy that's fading a little bit is Chase Brown's running back 2 in Zach Moss. And you have an early season running back 1 with a sick offensive line in Jerome Ford. Yep. Those are the top 4. Quarterback, we have Geno Smith. I won't mention the guy that plays for the Giants after what he did this weekend. Derek Carr, Bryce Young, and Dangerous.
Yeah. So my guy will be available in another round or 2. And okay. It's a homer pick that we're going to have eventually, hopefully. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. We do need depth because we're starting 3. We got 3, but we need some depth here. Man, we got starters all over the board here. I love this a lot. Yeah, I'm with you. We are circling Brian Thomas Jr. Love Cortland Sutton also. For me, man, with the uncertainty of now, if all these guys are healthy, they're on the field for 17 games. It's Jordan Addison, no question about it. Even with Sam Darnold. However, we're not quite sure what's going on with him yet. Again, with legality stuff, I don't like to play around with that. So for me, this is Cortland Sutton smash / Brian Thomas if he comes back around. Those are my 2 picks personally.
Yeah, I love it. I have, with the way Bo Nix played this weekend, I like Cortland Sutton and even some sneaky Tim Patrick later. And spoiler alert, my article that I've submitted to you for review and edit, yes, I have listed Brian Thomas as the rookie wide receiver to have the most touchdowns in 2024.
I ahead of Marvin Harrison, of course, folks. Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, et cetera. I love that. Jeff obviously is a Jags homer, but just very high quality, deep analysis on the rookie side of our dynasty all summer long as well. And Brian Thomas has been climbing up the charts. He's not getting the hype because he's in Jacksonville and he's kind of like buried on the depth chart a little bit, but he may not be. I mentioned in our last pick when we did the debate with Derek and Jeff that I liked Brian Thomas because there's nobody else there other than Christian Kirk who's also hurt. So for me, man, this is going to be Cortland Sutton just because I believe in the Broncos offense a little bit more and him being the true number 1. But Brian Thomas is an awesome secondary pick here if we end up fading. And then we'll go with our last quarterback here in our final pick. So I'll leave it up to you.
You want some interesting Brian Thomas info? I know you do.
Sure do.
217 vacated targets, Calvin Ridley, Gabe Davis.
He'll get at least 200 of those.
Now, he's easily, in my opinion, getting 100 of those, just like you said.
Yeah, he has to.
The bigger stat, because math is fun, Calvin Ridley had 24 end zone targets to lead the NFL. 24 end zone targets.
Insane.
Those have to go somewhere. Some of those are going to go to Evan Ingram. I think it's positive regression for him. I think the rest go to Brian Thomas.
And look, we could sneak away. Go ahead with Cortland Sutton so we can move on. We could sneak away with Brian Thomas being Mike Evans, and he's still available. Let's just take a look at the rest of the draft board for giggles. Scroll down here for me. Here we go. Back around here. Cortland Sutton goes to us. Dallas Goedert, Jordan Addison, Zach Moss, Trey Benson, Ezekiel Elliott, and Chase Brown. I like this a lot here. So we have 2 more picks here for sake of this draft. Check our team really quick. Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara. We got Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, and Rashee Rice, along with Cortland Sutton as well. And then we have Evan Ingram and then Raheem Mostert. Man, I love this team so much, dude. We're getting better and better at this. Yeah, let's go ahead. Look, I think we could just speed up the program at the end, get these people out of here for the rest of their day. Unless you want to debate or go a different direction, for me, it's Brian Thomas, and then I'm going to make an executive pick as our third quarterback here around the draft, assuming he's available.
Well, are you going to draft him or quack him?
Oh, count it. So if you're looking at the draft board here, we do have I can lean off the rest of the draft picks really quick here just so everybody can keep track. Oh, look at these running backs, Matt.
Ooh, wee. 1, 2,
okay,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 16 picks.
Plus, let's go back a little bit before we pick Brian Thomas, and that's 4 more. So we'll call it 20. Holy shit, 20 and 22 were running backs, folks. Thank God we are good to go. Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins, Blake Corum, Zach Charbonnet, Jaleel McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard. Oh, there's Khalil Shakur. He doesn't play running back. Then we have Rico Dowdle, Khalil Herbert, Tyler Algier, Ty Chandler, Marshawn Lloyd, Jalen Wright, and Ray Davis. So for me, this is our last pick here. You know who I'm going with. The quarterbacks available right now per the suggestions I'll read out just for giggles and wiggles are Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, who's no Kerry Collins for the Giants. Am I right? Derek Carr, Bryce Young, and Russell Wilson. My guy, not even listed, off draft boards, might be early, but I'll tell you right now, he's the starter. He's going to be killing it, and he's probably already the third best quarterback in that division. Give me Bo Nix, no question about it, as our third, who will probably never play, but as a bye-week fill-in and as a guy that could step in immediately if we have any injuries, no question about it, it's going to be Bo Nix.
Now, I hate to rain on your parade.
I'm with you. Go ahead and check it out. You can look at our roster, and I think it tells you. Let's see, bye week 4, and where's Lamar? Both of them. Yep. Not awesome. Is that a deal breaker for you?
Because we're having fun, no. But I would take Geno with Grubb as the offensive coordinator. However, we're having fun with it. We're going to take Bo Nix, knowing that we would not have done that. We would have paid more attention moving up.
Yep, no worries. And again, if it was a week like 7 bye week, then I'd probably be more stringent on that. But honestly, I'm not concerned as much in week 14. Anything could happen to these guys. All right, Matt, from top to bottom, let's get the people out of here. What's our roster looking like? Superflex, full PPR, 3 wide receivers.
Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Evan Ingram at tight end. Our 2 flexes are Raheem Mostert and Cortland Sutton. Our Superflex, Jaden Daniels. On the bench, Brian Thomas Jr. and Bo Nix. Now, I love how how it always shows us A+. That's just it's
a confidence booster.
We're going to give ourselves a good A+. However, this is borderline failure because we didn't pay attention to bye weeks, but we only have so much time. The people only have so much time. And why are we here? For the people.
Yeah.
So yes, we would not have done week 14 for all 3 of our quarterbacks. But
I do agree to a certain point. Now, Bo Nix is a homer pick for me, but folks, this is no longer a homer pick. He's absolutely crushing in preseason, okay? I happen to like Bo Nix. I'm a duck. That's what it is. He's absolutely crushing, and he will be the starter in what should be a better offense with Sean Payton and good weapons. So don't just fade Bo Nix because I'm a homer. That being said, Matt, you're not wrong. In week 14, later in the season, I'm okay because anything could happen to those other top guys. Also, like other guys go down, there might be somebody popping up. Like Josh Dobbs played super well. Anything happens to Brock Purdy, Josh Dobbs becomes a waiver wire pickup. Whatever. Joe Flacco came out of nowhere last year, but Gardner Minshew is probably going to be floating around forever. He could be a week buy-in if we need to. So you're not wrong, but I don't feel horrible about it based on the scenario. And I'm not willing to pass on talent and upside of guys based on a bye week that late in the season. So for me, I feel comfortable about it. And this overall roster, we said it last week. I think this overall roster is our best, at least super flex draft of the season.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
Awesome.
Last thing for you is you need to guess the hat. I can see what yours is.
Yeah, we have a saying here in the Bay Area, folks. You all know I'm a Niner, I'm a Giant, I'm a Warrior, a Shark, if you will, if those of you that live places with ice. We have a saying, hate the Dodgers, love Vin Scully, right? I'm going to move that up to current times. Hate the Dodgers, love the history of the Dodgers, also Shohei Ohtani. So I got the Brooklyn Dodgers, never an LA cap. It won't happen ever, but shouts out to baseball history. I'm a nerd. Matt, okay. 2 clues. Which sport and what side of the country?
Baseball in the middle.
Baseball in the middle. Easy. Okay. Baseball in the middle. Okay. I should have saved one of my questions. Fuck. All right. Well, I immediately go to the Reds or Cardinals, but I think like you might be fancy with an alternate here. Boy, I don't want to take too much time on this, but
I'm not an alternate dude.
Traditional.
Outside of my Mariners, I don't go really alternate.
Okay, traditional then. Braves don't count as middle. You wouldn't wear a Rangers hat. That would be alternate anyway. I'm going to go St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go. Now, is that a Stan the Man era? Is that David Eckstein?
No, that's I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago I picked it
Willie
up.
McGee, maybe? Willie McGee.
I do love Willie McGee. Loved him. Loved Vince Coleman.
Oof. Man, God, we're going to get fired. We should stop talking about baseball. Folks, it has been an absolute blast.
You got a question on the board.
We do. I'm on it. What's a good trade value for Nick Chubb? I love this so much. In Dynasty, get him for free. 4th rounder, a 3rd rounder, whatever. See what happens this year. Redraft. Oh boy. Jerome Ford and somebody else. I would say maybe package like a number 1, not a number 1 in fantasy, but a number 1 low end fantasy wide receiver. So like Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin plus
Christian
Kirk. I like it. Nick Chubb is full on who knows? J.K. Dobbins is the same thing. These guys are both animals, but they're not PPR guys. So in PPR, I wouldn't be as aggressive. I have Nick Chubb's jersey. I love this guy. I would not be aggressive in PPR. In half PPR or non, certainly, I would absolutely be aggressive, but I don't think you have to be aggressive price tag wise. So for me, it's going to be one of those like wide receiver ones on a team, but not wide receiver 1 in fantasy plus. How about you?
So do you recall where Jerome Ford just went? 9th or 10th, maybe?
Can we see him still? Yeah, I'm looking for, he went after the 10th because I don't see him. So 11, 12 maybe?
In a redraft league, what I would do is I would probably scoop up Chubb, knowing that you can put him on the IR if your league offers that, like a Yahoo league, and immediately grab Ford. So if you're on the turn and you're in charge and you've got your stuff filled like we did, right? We started having fun with our picks down the line. If you're at the 12-13, right? The 12, what is it? The 112 and the 2-1 down in your draft in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th round, and Ford and Chubb are there, you take them both. You wait till week 1, you put Chubb in the IR, and then you go grab the guy that killed it in camp at the very end that nobody had heard of.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, that guy last year happens to wear 17 for the Rams. So.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. Matt, always a pleasure. Never a chore, my man. One of these episodes, we're going to slide in about 45 minutes of like between 1950 and 1999 baseball. will go off the handles. So we appreciate everybody handling us. By the way, the baseball team on the other side going hard right now. Fantasy baseball season's going on. Like, we got the playoffs coming up. All of those guys on the other side, please make sure to check out the other side of Razzball, the flagship, I should say, the baseball side of it. But we got football covered for you all summer long, heading into the fall as well. Matt, we have real football coming up. And by the way, college football starts this weekend. For those of you that like to not buy real beer at a football game, college football is your jam. It's along the way. Go Ducks, go Cougs. It's always been a pleasure. You can find everything Razzball at Razzball NFL. You can find all of our content, football.razzball.com, on the podcast as well. Razzball Fantasy Football Show, anywhere you listen to your audio. And, of course, you can find Matty Stiles at Stiles08 and myself, Sky Guasco, SkyGuasco. Always a pleasure, never a chore, folks. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. We'll catch you next time on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show.